Hey, what's up guys, Anboni here. So the new season is out, and with the new season we get new Azerite gear, changes to the old Azerite gear, as well as overall changes to how Azerite traits work in PvP. And in this video I wanted to talk about how I decided to set up my Shadow Priest for Season 2. A lot of people are asking on my stream how, what traits are the best now and everything like that. So I have two sets. Well, I don't have any of them right now because I have to farm all the gear and I got really unlucky this week. But I'll show you what I'm going for in Season 2. There's two sets I'm going for. The first one is going to be really traditional, probably the best overall. The second one is more experimental, but I feel like it makes sense, especially in a more rot style composition. We'll talk about them. It's about the selective nerf in Azerite traits in PvP. I'll talk about that in just a second, but first I want to thank our sponsor for this video, Return of Warrior. Return of Warrior is an old school action MMORPG with a heavy focus on PvP that went into open beta on January 10th. So yes, it's free to play and there's a link in the video description. And being based on the game Risk Your Life, which came out over 10 years ago, the graphics are very retro. The game is based on a war between the two factions, the humans and the Akan. Once you pick your side, your entire account is locked into it, and you can pick between the various classes and then specializations available. Leveling up is grindy, and there's a lot of running involved, as you might expect from an old school MMORPG. However, you get to replace your gear quite frequently, and you learn a lot of new spells along the way, so leveling up feels pretty rewarding. Once you hit level 40, you unlock the main feature and the main focus of Return of Warrior, and that is PvP. You have open world PvP, guild wars, statue wars, and you can even build your own fortress. The game is clearly not for everyone, but if hardcore classic MMORPGs are your thing, you should give Return of Warrior a try, and I got a link for you down in the video description. Okay, so Azerite gear in Season 2, all traits, well most traits, we'll get to that, most traits have been cut in half in PvP, and that is to compensate for the fact that, as you might have noticed, Azerite gear in Season 2 has one extra trait, and they want to avoid people stacking Azerite traits and being broken and overpowered, although it's not exactly fair because, some classes take advantage of Azerite gear more than others, maybe it's not exactly balanced, but anyway, gear has been cut in half, the traits. And then one last thing is, Season 2 Azerite gear has way more stamina than Season 1 Azerite gear. Even on lower levels, it has more stamina. You want to go for Season 2 Azerite gear because it has double traits, more stamina, it's just better, okay? So there's two ways, as I said, that I have a theory crafted a little bit of being just the best for Arena for Shadow Priest. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the more stable, the most basic, and probably gonna end up being the best overall. And in PvP, my main sources of damage is always Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch, always. So it makes sense to me to boost those big numbers, make it even bigger, okay? So I want bigger Shadow Word Pain and bigger Vampiric Touch. I wish I had some sort of burst, but Shadow Priests have no burst, so we're just gonna have to increase our dot damage. Now the only two traits that increase dot damage are Death Throes and Thought Harvester. So the best way possible would be to have 3 pieces of Azerite gear, 415 item level, with both Death Throes and Thought Harvester. That's impossible because there's no shoulders like that, but you can get head and chest piece. So the head piece, you can grab that from King's Rest or from Siege of Boralos. Both of those helmets have both Death Throes and Thought Harvester, and you can grab the 370 version from a Mythic 0, which I think makes a lot of sense, and I think is better than the 390 you have right now with a singular trait. Because again, more stamina, double traits, just more damage, everything's great. Now for the chest piece, sadly there's a single chest piece in the entire game that has both Death Throes and Thought Harvester, and that is the chest from King Rastakhan in the new Battle for Dazalor raid. So, sorry guys, we're gonna have to raid. And then the shoulders, there's actually no shoulders, as I said, with both Death Throes and Thought Harvester, but I'll just go for the highest eye level possible with either of them. That's my plan. And then for stats, I'll go with the traditional intellect, into haste, into mastery, into versatility, into crit. I don't really care about crit. I never crit anyway, and I don't care about it. And that's probably going to be the best way to go right now. Again, I'm going to focus on just collecting as much gear as possible, and I'll see what I'll have. And based on what I get, I'm going to forge my priest and pick the items and the traits based on what items I get. Now, the other way to go is a bit more experimental, and it takes advantage of this selective nerf. One extra reason why I want Thought Harvester, even in the previous one, is because the 150% Mindseer proc is not nerfed in PvP. So the 150% proc is still 150% proc. It's great. Now the other trait that doesn't get nerfed in PvP is the Insanity generation from Whispers of the Damned. So if you have Whispers of the Damned, just one. Whenever you crit with Mind Blast, you generate, instead of, I think, 12 Insanity, it goes up to 32 Insanity. That's a lot. That's a lot of Insanity. Stay in Void Form longer, you do more damage, you get the Void Form faster. It's great, okay? So that's the reasoning behind it. And the way to go would be a more PvE-oriented build with a lot of crit, a lot of haste, mastery, and then versatility last. And well, you can juggle a bit with them depending on what gear you have. You can like mouse over and check the tooltip, see how much damage you do with more versatility compared to more mastery. But basically you want a lot of crit. If you have a lot of crit and your spec is based around crit, then a lot of the traits that are kind of considered really bad right now in PvP, like Cores of Insanity for instance, suddenly become viable. Like, okay, that's fine. Cores of Insanity, Shadowy Apparition, whatever it's called, those suddenly become pretty decent and viable choices. And it's way better having, you know, 2 traits than just one. So the idea is you play one single Whispers of the Damned for the extra Insanity generation. Then you play one single Thought Harvester for the Mindseer proc, because I feel like that's pretty good, especially when you have a lot of crit. You can get a fat Mindseer. And then for the rest, the remainder of 4, you have 4 Azerite traits. You can go whatever you want. You can go Cores of Insanity is fine, Death Throes is fine. You can even stack a Thought Harvester if you want, that's also fine. You know, it gives you way more freedom if you have a lot of crit, because the traits are not trash if you have crit. If you don't have crit, and you go for the traditional style with just haste and mastery and low crit, then obviously Cores of Insanity doesn't make any sense, because, you know, you have 5% crit and then you get 3% more. Thanks. Like, what am I going to do with that, you know? And same with the Shadowy Apparitions. Since you have no crit, why would you want to buff that? You never crit anyway. So that's kind of the idea of this second spec. I need to experiment with them a little more, but first of all I need to get the gear. So go get the gear, guys. Now about the trinkets. Oh, the trinkets. Oh, I farmed that trinket for so long. And then finally I got it. Finally. Let's fucking go. The Maledict trinket is really fun. I feel like it's actually a good design for a trinket. It might have been way too overpowered in the start, but since then it got nerfed twice. First they nerfed the damage a lot, and then they made the debuff dispellable. So I feel like it's in a pretty good spot now. It's obviously annoying to fight against sometimes, and a lot of times the debuff makes your HP look worse than it actually is. But there's some really cool things you can do with the trinket, and here are some quick tips on how to use the Maledict trinket to its full potential. Obviously you can use it in a lot of different ways, but these ways are very interesting. And the best, in my opinion, you can use it on guaranteed heals, things like Dispersion healing, Frenzied regeneration healing, and especially Cauterize from mages. If you pop the trinket right before they are to pop Cauterize, right before they're about to die, the healing absorb from the trinket is gonna suck up all that Cauterize, and they're gonna just bloop, they're gonna die. So good. Maledict is great. I'm so happy I have one finally, even though it's low item level. Go get one right now before it gets nerfed even more. The trinket got nerfed twice already. I feel like it's okay right now. It shouldn't get nerfed more than it is now, but who knows. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned something. And I'll see you in the next video or on stream. See ya!